Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You're watching Sharp Edge News TV. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, follow, notification, all that. Turn that up. Turn up your notifications so you're notified whenever we drop videos or go live. Welcome back. Welcome back. I appreciate you being here today. And just do me a quick favor again. We're noticing about 83% of you in the last 28 days watched the videos, the live, but you're not subscribed. So do me a favor, take a second. It takes a second, it's free. Click on subscribe so you can officially become a part of the family, and maybe you can also help us spread the word. Yes, 83% of you are watching the video and you're not subscribed.
The family and the community.
Yeah, in the family, and so be a part of the family, be a part of the community, and that will go a long way for us. So thank you. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. But today, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to welcome a man of two powerful roles, publisher of SharpEdgeNews.com and High Chief Odokwetu of Ayedeogbese, Ondo State. Whether in the newsroom or the kingdom, is always ahead. Give it up for the legend, High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you so much, Ola. It's good to be back, and thank you for all you do. And my warmest appreciation and gratitude to our teaming viewers all over the world. Like I've always said, it's not something that we take lightly. We do not take it for granted that you are decidedly part of what we do here. So thank you for allowing us through your devices into your personal space. It's good to be back this week, and I hope we'll have a nice time together. Good
Awesome.
to be back.
Welcome back. Without any further ado, we're just gonna go ahead and dive right in to SharpEdgeNews.com special report. I'm sure you're gonna bring us up to speed. It's a lot of events over the past week or so. So go ahead, take it away, sir.
Thank you very much. Like I said, good to be back. Those of us in America here, American citizens, whether in or outside the country at this moment, we're still relishing our 249th independence anniversary. But this past week, it came with all kinds of situations, including the tragic to the melodramatic. Our hearts at this time are solidly with those who are mourning their loved ones, whether through unexpected explosions from fireworks that consumed so many. We share in the grief of all these worthy compatriots, and concerning the campers that were still declared missing in places like state of Texas, and the people that have been declared dead because of this natural disaster. We also express our sympathies. To the continent of Africa, we go to the Sunshine State, particularly the land of the broken beads, known in Yoruba as Akure, that land where some royal beads were caught centuries back and then derived its name and known as Akure today, the Akure Kingdom. We want to rejoice and felicitate the King of the Kingdom, His Majesty, the Deji of Akure, Oba Odudun II, Deji Alade Toyinbo. Even before he became king, he was acting kingly, he was acting royal. I remember that when I first arrived in the United States and I had to visit folks in the city of Baltimore, he was our president in the Oyemeku International Club, OIC, and I had the rare opportunity of first eating pounded yam in his house with rich egusi soup and all that. And I am always grateful, not just to him for hosting us in those days with folks like elder community persons like Oga Gbangbalasha and Oga Dipo. All of these people were worthy, accurate sons. And the then Prince Alade Toyinbo's wife, now the Deji of Akure, the Queen Consort of the Olori, the daughter of Baba Bangba Akintide, was always a willing and happy hostess to many of us. But why I am really rejoicing with Deji on this occasion is the fact that he's been able to right the wrong of almost 42 years, which I have captured in another work titled The Akure Holocaust. That is the one-day malady of 16th August of 1983 in Akure, in which my uncle, the eminent book publisher, Honorable Albert Olaya Fagbamigbe, also known as Iroko Olipaye, was killed, was murdered, assassinated in cold blood. And his remains incinerated by political thugs. Some people said there was a revolution that they know. I said it wasn't a revolution, it was a calculated murder. Olaya Fagbamigbe was not the only person that was killed that day. His elder brother, Baba Oni James Fagbamigbe, who was a faithful Catholic, was also killed, and his remains burnt. And infamously, the Guardian, the well-known flagship of journalism in Nigeria, the Guardian newspaper of August 17, 1983, reported him as his Babalawo that was killed with him. That was an infamy, and it was a slander and a libel, for that matter, on the part of the Guardian newspaper. Of course, because of that lies, I was pushed from a very young age to want to prefer the vocation and profession of journalism, so that the truth, the facts of every matter will be stated as it is. Those of us in the Fagbamigbe family felt unduly violated because of such falsehood that was pushed by the media on that day. Now, Olaya Fagbamigbe has been gone for 42 years, and nobody ever recalled the good deeds of the man. Why was he killed? Some people would say, and like I've always said, it is dangerous to play opposition politics in a place like Nigeria. Simply leaving the mainstream Southwestern Party of Unity Party of Nigeria because of personal injuries he had suffered in that party. Because while he was still a member of Unity Party of Nigeria, attempts were made on his life. He survived such gunshots fired at him, with instructions left for medical personnel at the state specialist hospital then at Akure that somebody will be brought here with wound. If anybody was brought there with gunshot wounds, nobody should attend. So it was premeditated. They knew he would be shot at, and he would want to seek first aid and possible rescue from that hospital. The gates were shut, and so he was taken in 1982 to Ijare, where Trado medical persons assisted in extracting the pellets from his body. Thereafter, he felt like he needed no enemy. If his associates in the Unity Party of Nigeria would attempt his life that way, because of issues of maybe Omoborowo, a younger person becoming governor, and Ajashi, an older person stepping down. It's been argued that the youth of that time were so over ambitious in demanding all over the places for younger generations to take up the baton. But you cannot blame the youth of those times too, because Unity Party of Nigeria evolved from the Committee of Friends that also stemmed from the Action Group. So if you have pumped people up with so much action, and the adrenaline were so high up, and they said they would want to take over from the old brigade. Little wonder why things things went awry in those days. But what were his legacies? Donating his ancestral land to construct the now famous Akure Airport. That land, was handed down to generations of Fagbamigbe from their forebear, the Prince of Aramoko, who later became Ologun Omolare of Akure land, the later Baba Ajiboro of Fagbamigbe. That was the man who did exploits. That story will be told another day. We do not have so much time. But the point we're making is that whether in the ancestry of the Fagbamigbe in Akure, because they came directly, and their family is still part of the ruling family in Aramoko Ekiti today. So Baba Ajiboro of Fagbamigbe, who later became the Ologun Omolare, on whose term Akure stopped the annual sacrifice of Omolares to the worship of Ogun, was the one who gave birth to the father of Olaya Fagbamigbe, Awolo Fagbamigbe. That is the father of my grandmother, the father of Baba Oni, James Fagbamigbe, the father of other Fagbamigbes, but Olaya Fagbamigbe was the only son of the 4 siblings that were sired by Awolo Fagbamigbe and the wife, Ikupola. So, fast forward to 1979 to 1983. Fagbamigbe was known as the rallying point in the House of Representatives of the Second Republic for the caucus of the Unity Party of Nigeria. In fact, if Olaya Fagbamigbe tabled any motion, not today that things are done through voice vote or things are already done, you would know that he would have exhaustively dealt with the topic, and every other person would just be concurring and falling in line. The only person I've witnessed in politics that had that kind of a capacity, is the later James Ajibola Ige, Shibola Ige, the then governor of Old Oyo State. And interestingly, the part of Fagbamigbe, Adekunle Ajasin, Chief R.F. Fashoranti, Funsho Afelumo crossed as the first set of indigenous African book publishers in Nigeria. They started the book representation company. Later, Fagbamigbe started his own, Olaya Fagbamigbe Limited. That man could be killed because of mundane political issues. Somebody who was acting as the arrowhead of Akure agitations and demands was such a traumatic tragedy for everybody. And so that the Deji in this is an 10th year anniversary celebration has remembered, has brought back the memories of Olaya Fagbamigbe and decided to give him posthumous award. Honor. This is what we are calling on the federal government of Nigeria to do. This is what we are calling on Ondo State government to do. Fagbamigbe was not just a bench warmer. He was not a yes man in any of those things that led to, any of those developments that led to the creation of Ondo State, the starting of Federal University of Technology Akure, the what's it called? The creation, the founding of the Akure Airport, and so many other landmark events. He was foremost using his book publishing interest to back the then free education policy of the Unity Party of Nigeria. We continue to wish him a sweet repose in the bosom of the Lord, and we pray that long may the Deji reign. Deliberately, I don't call people imperial majesties because imperialism is not a positive word. Even the British Empire, the British government that used to parade all that, they have dropped it. The King of England today is simply known as His Majesty. So, Alaye Gbede Gbede Bionilanyi, Etiti wo Ọlọ́run nífà, Deji Akure, Jojelo, and we appreciate you. We thank you, and we say, long may the king reign. Odio Kabesi. Now to another topical event. I hope I can do this really quickly, which is the appearance of what I would call abomination of desecration. The Bible talks of abomination of desolation. I talk of abomination of desecration today. The event that brought the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Mr. Jason Wike, to our own home church in Abuja, St. James's Anglican Church, Asokoro, yesterday. I would describe as not just laughable, but really ridiculous. Why is it that we find it difficult to separate between church and the state? You know, and Venerable Ben Abume was the host, vicar in the church yesterday, and decided to declare that the church was awarding specially to Minister Jason Wike an award of Ambassador of Christ. According to Archdeacon or Venerable Abume, Wike had really represented the church well. And he was saying it to the world, to the world through the media yesterday that he was a worthy ambassador of Christ.
All right, point of correction, sir. His name is Ben Idume.
Oh, Ben Idume. Thank you very much for that correction. Venerable Ben Idume. My apologies, Pastor, or Archdeacon, as the case may be. But in this case, having made it obvious, I do not understand why the puppet, the hallowed puppet of the church, the Anglican Church, has been of attraction to generations of us who were born into that institution. We are impressed by the antecedents of the church. Is it concerning prominent members of that church, like William Wilberforce, that led abolitionist movements against slave trade? Those are worthy legacies. Or the activities of the Church Missionary Society, CMS, of the Anglican Church, that made sure there was explosion of Western education all over Nigeria and the British Empire of the famous past. But what we're saying here is that we could have taken it one notch further by way of making sure that we preserve the sanctity and respectability of the Anglican Church as an institution. I, as an active member, whether as a member of Anglican Youth Fellowship who grew up in that church, to be an adult member now. Sorry,
can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Before you make that statement, there's a 1 minute, 30-second statement by Ben Idume here. Maybe, I don't know, do you want me to play it so that from the same event? The title says, Tinubu sees vision. New Wike would perform as FCT minister.
Please go ahead.
Okay, all right. Just to make sure that you have a well-rounded...
To thank President Tinubu, who appointed this man to be minister, because even though he was hiding in rivers, didn't bring him to Abuja. I don't know, because I'm not in the heart of other people, but I know it was through the president that the minister came into office. So we must thank him. That president himself is a visionary president. He can see vision somehow. That's why he saw that this man can do something. I never know that the Muslim can see vision. Tinubu can see vision. Whether he closed eye or open. So, President is a visionary president. So we thank him for making us happy in FCT. This year is the second. By the third year, you will do better. by the 4th year, you will be rounding up the first phase of the first game. You hear me? That one, you will do much more better. Then we warm up for the next round of assignments. God will empower you.
All right. So I thought you might want to. You might.
Yes, thank you. That puts things in the proper context. But what the Archdeacon just said there, where did he get? I mean, what is the antecedent for that? Did Jesus praise Herod or Pontius Pilate or the rulers of his time to high heavens like this vicar just did yesterday? Like I was saying, I grew up in the Anglican communion, and I'm still a practicing Anglican. And I do not say that like a self-righteous Pharisee. No, as a humble worshiper who acknowledges my place as a sinner before God. Succession, I've been very observant closely of successions of Anglican leadership in Nigeria, whether from Archbishop Olufosoye, Abiodun Adetiloye, Jasper Akinola, and so on and so forth till the present time. Of course, in my native place, Akure, I witnessed firsthand the way people like Bishop Bolanle Bonigi, Emmanuel Bolanle Bonigi, embrace liberation theology, standing in the gap for the oppressed, how they spoke truth to power. I do not find any justification for what happened in that church yesterday. It's our church. It's a church I attended, my former residence to Jomo Kenyatta Street, Asokoro, just 40 meters trek away from that church. There is no precedence for what that vicar did yesterday, turning the church to a campaign ground for the self-perpetuation of the current leadership in Nigeria. That is no. And look at the things, the insidious and incendiary comments passed on to political opposition figures on the grounds of that church yesterday. He said, no. And I want to make this short. I thank God that Jesse Wike did not just fire salvos at his political opponents. He also aimed a long one at the vicar himself. He said the vicar was referring to him as a member of the church. He said he is not a member of that church. That is not a member of that church, and that sometimes he's so reluctant to come to Anglican churches because when you get there, they make funny demands, requests on you. And I've noticed this pattern. There was a time I was celebrating something at the home church in Ayede Ogbese. I think it was my 50th birthday, and my elder brother, Oladimeji Abitogun, was there. A vicar that had never seen Oladimeji Abitogun before decided on that occasion to make him an harvest chairperson. You don't even know the state of the art of that man. You don't know his commitments to his family, his finances, and all that. You just lump him into the agenda. We will support our church, our home churches, but in worthy causes. I did not see this vicar yesterday mention the striking teachers all over Abuja. And he decided.
There were dignitaries on that chair that I just watched. There was people sitting.
When you look around that church, how many poor folks that Jesus attracted to his ministry did you find there? You won't find the blind. You won't find the hungry of Abuja there. You will not find the lame. You will not find the cripple. But they hawk all kinds of miracles all over Nigeria. Anglican Church does not usually do that, but they cannot also be spared of the kind of crippling criminality that has overtaken churches and mosques and traditional places of worship all over Nigeria. It's a shame, and this has to stop. And this is just a voice in the Anglican Church. I do not care because they talk of excommunication and what have you. If you excommunicate people who speak up as members of the church, you can be honest. You cannot excommunicate us from the kingdom if we really stick to the grace and we allow Jesus to take us there. That said, I love to step down from my soapbox, Ola, and now you are in charge.
Okay. So I'll just say this because today we've spent way over time, but it's okay. We'll manage it. the interesting part about this last part of your special is I've seen this all my life. Also recently there was a news around, I think it was Kwam 1, the organo phenomenon.
Ganu, the one, the people who don't Ganu, the people Ganu see.
You have to position yourself for the dodo. Never mind the dodo. You have to put.
Yes,
You have to position.
really. Yesterday was Ganusi moment for Venerable Ben.
Listen,
No Ganusi now.
the fear of hunger is the beginning of wisdom. May God help all of us.
Yeah, but people should, open up to having their faith go through the process of baptism of fire. If you succumb succumb to all kinds of vicissitudes and temptations and what have you, just for that moment, could you also be said to be worthy of the kingdom of God? Well, we leave the judgment to God himself.
Yeah. All right. We shall have it. We shall see. Do us a favor, please hit the like button. Shout out to Natu and Blossom Show in the chat. Thank you for being here. All right, so hit the like button. Thank you so much
for joining us. Natu, Blossom, everyone.
Yeah, share, subscribe, and follow.
To invite friends and.
Yes, let's help us ping other people into the room, and we'll be right back.
So you are thinking of being a running mate to Atiku. Is that the case right now? That's your intention?
Again, Shehu, this is not in play. Nobody have ever discussed that.
You know what I'm asking?
People assume so many things. Nobody have ever discussed with me whether I'm going to be A or B or C. Shehu, I'm going to contest for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I believe I'm qualified for it.
You know the reason why I'm asking this? The coalition has been touted as Atiku-led coalition. And there are those who think that organization of coming together, that marriage is for an Atiku platform to run.
People just assume anything in this country. And I don't believe in assumption. I don't live with it. I'm part of a coalition which will be able to produce a competent president with capacity, compassion.
All right. So over the weekend, there was a 1 hour full interview. Sunday night, yes. 1 hour full interview with Shehu of Channels TV with Peter Obu. This segment is called Tinubu in Trouble. Only 30% support from the North. Somebody is predicting this. I'm going to read this to you real quickly from a Zainab Galadima, and then you can take it away, sir. This was published on Vanguard. It says Zainab Galadima, daughter of New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Chieftain Buba Galadima, believes President Bola Tinubu could secure as little as 30% of votes from the northern region in the 2027 presidential election. Speaking on the mic on podcast hosted by Channels television journalist Shehu Okinbaloye, Zainab described the upcoming election as likely Tinubu's most difficult political challenge yet. Take it away, sir. What are your thoughts about all of this?
Oh, thank you very much, Ola. For a very long time, I settled myself to the reality of politics in Nigeria, particularly among Northerners. You see, at the time, I even formulated a mantra. The predominant spiritual force up north is Islam. And they would say, Allah Akbar, meaning there is no God but Allah. And when I look at the religious commitment to the issue of politics and power, sometimes I'm tempted to say that there is no God to the average Northerner, but power. You see how those things can interchange. The commitment of the average Northerner to securing power at any expense is in no doubt whatsoever. And when they get that power, what they do with it is another issue. Hence, the issue of very visible, very visible social issues like poverty and agitations up north. But from the feelers that we continue to get, kind of feedback to that will help Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I really do not care whether he gets elected or re-elected or he self-perpetuates. The thing is that he should understand that northern elements and individuals, commoners and powerful individuals up north today are not really smiling. If the smiling folks in the southwest, down south, everywhere, if they continue to say that it's their turn, southerners must spend 2 times and what have you, that is of little or no concern to compatriots up north. And they must work out their salvation, political salvation, or they must secure whatever they call their presidency now with trepidation and fear, because northern elements are not really joking. Now, you will look at some individuals in the emerging coalition, say like El-Rufai, who said all kinds of stuff about ATIKU Abubakar, who said all kinds of stuff about Peter Obi in the 2023 presidential contest. Today, they have come together trying to see what they can do. And when you see such forces coming together, you will understand that it looks like where the carcass is, there you would find vultures. It therefore means that there is something that is of common interest, a commonality of agenda to Nigerian opposition politicians at this moment. It does not matter the way people like Wike are painting it that, oh, these people, they have been there, they are this, they are that. Do they have some leverage? And then the political calculation, or let's say the numeracy calculation, politics being game of number, like the late Umaru Diko would put it. Do you think, whether it is skewed or it is genuine, do you think the population strength of the North could swing things in their favor? So if Lady Galadima is saying that maybe 30% of votes may be the highest attainable for Tinubu in the unfolding political dispensation, that may be true. However, let me also tell you this. If these coalition elements have been at their game from what they say, they themselves just disclosed to us, at their game for more than 18 months now, barely 6 months after Tinubu secured the presidency. So you think it will be easy for somebody like Peter Obi to divulge everything he has in his chest, telling Nigerians whether he's going to be on a joint ticket with ATIKU or not? You know, they are trying to, the acolytes of the current president are doing everything possible to demarcate the coalition. But the harder they try, something is, it's been betrayed about how they are taking the entire thing. It's like they're under pressure. It's like they are tensed up already. It's like what Yorubas will call Sorongbewon. You understand? So it's neither here nor there. All we can do, we don't want to jump the gun concerning the politics of 2027. We can only, you and I, are like other news hands all over Africa and Africa, the diaspora. What we can do is just to sit down, look, and make sure that we are in our best element concerning how we file in the reportage on these events as they develop. But I see that something, I can sense that something is beginning to give in concerning the current administration. There will be so much name calling. For example, the first reaction of Mr. Bayo Onanuga, the media advisor to President Bola Tinubu, was so exhaustive and full of lambast. Why go to that strength if they are not bothered? I listened to what's his name? Daniel Dwala tonight. After Aredile Momodu spoke to Seun Okinbaloye on Channels TV. I listened to Daniel Dwala, who spoke from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Although it was mispronouncing Badue arrangement and coalition and all that. Well, to even use the word Badue, it means that he knows something about Badue politics himself. Yeah, so all these things, they are going to tackle themselves. Politicians are good at that. And all we can do now is to sit by and watch them, whether they tear themselves apart or they choose to cooperate with themselves. You do not expect an easy kill for a pack of lions or carnivores. It's not going to be an easy thing. They will do everything to make sure that they corner that thing to their side. What I'm hoping for is a situation in which there will be a newer generation of Nigerians. And, I have mentioned a lot the person of Omoyele Sowore and others who are who are deeply visionary to really take up the charge. But, it's almost like one thing we know about the place of the oppressed. Whether you are taking it from the world of late Professor Olarotimi or the Brazilian famous author of this book on oppressed people. The game is of the same universal standard. It is almost Catholic that the people that are really at the receiving end of the harsh policies of whether this current government or past ones, you see the way people like Rotimi Amechi will come on the scene and it will come on the scene and want to repackage Buhari as being better than Tinubu. They want us to forget that Tinubu administration is a continuation of the APC voyage. And that it's not been easy for Nigerians. Whichever way you take it, it will take the unity of the common people of Nigeria. But isn't that utopian in itself? But if it's something that can be realized, that the common folks in Nigeria will come together and say, well, you can tear yourselves apart as much as you want. You can boast about the size of your Rolls Royce or how you arrived at your work. Because now each side is being asked, whether it's Amechi or Wike, how did you make your money?
Well, speaking of Amechi and Wike and even the matter of choice between ATIKU and Bitabi, we're going to come back to that in a second. I want us to cover this.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So long they find it so difficult to give straight answers to Nigerian, to the generality or majority of us Nigerians. By the way, I have my voter's card. So I'm not just, and for me, it's a matter of obligation to vote, whether as an American or as a Nigerian. Yes. So they shouldn't think that, we are just talking. For example, they are saying all sorts now. Like you said, we would revisit the matter shortly. I don't want to give out too much.
In a few, don't give
Thank
too much away. Stay
Thank you very
tuned,
much.
everybody. Stay tuned. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Before we move on to the rest of this story, we want to cover a little bit on Donald Trump. So we'll be right back.
Thank you.
With the trade deals, could be 12, maybe 15. You know, Secretary of Commerce right here. And I guess, Howard, I would say it could be maybe as many as 15 or so. And they'll be going out on Monday, and some will go out on Tuesday and Wednesday, and it'll. And we've made deals also, so we're going to have a combination of letters, and some deals have been made.
We are expecting on Wednesday 2 things. One is perhaps a couple more trade deals. So far, the U.S. has only done one with the.
All right, so that was a coverage by the Time magazine. It says Trump is actually they've named Nigeria in this situation here, but they said President Donald Trump has threatened additional tariffs on any country that supports the anti-American policies of the BRICS group. That's Brexit too, right? That's the same thing, right?
No, Brexit is different from.
It's different. Okay, all right. So let me elaborate on that. So the BRICS group is a political and diplomatic coordination forum consisting of 11 countries. It says any country aligning themselves with the anti-American policies
You
of
can
BRICS.
call it the Southern. You can now call it the Southern Economic Bloc.
Southern Economic Bloc. Okay.
That's right.
Any country that aligns itself with their policies will be charged an additional 10% tariffs. There will be no exceptions to this policy, Trump said on his social media platform. Trump did not explicitly specify what constitutes anti-American policies in the instance, but he has previously warned the group not to create a new BRICS currency or back any other currencies to replace the mighty US dollars. Anyway, so somewhere here they said the group also established a relationship with strategic partner countries at last year's summit, aligning itself with Belarus, Bolivia, Kazakhstan, Cuba, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda, Uzbekistan, never heard of that before, and last but not least, Nigeria.
Right.
Uzbekistan.
It's part of the defunct USSR.
Okay, that would make sense. Yeah. So Vietnam was formally announced as the 10th partner country in June. BRICS is widely seen as a challenge to the unipolar global power dynamic in which
unipolar.
Unipolar. Unipolar global power dynamic in which the United States is regarded as the lead superpower. Instead, BRICS members have pushed a multipolar power setting in which various countries lead global cooperation efforts. What do you say? Is this another manipulative tactics from,
Donald Trump?
Yes. 10% tariffs. Or he's rightfully protecting the place of... is he rightfully protecting the place of the United States?
Well, he was actually the one who undermined the place of the United States in the first place. If countries of BRICS consciousness who are currently meeting in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria spoke there yesterday, and if they are merged together to act as a response to the influence of America, economic diktats, and the strength of the dollar, making sure that the globe becomes more competitive and does not look in one direction for leadership and guidance. Who do you blame for it? Because for every action, there will be opposite reaction. And nobody has got this monopoly of policy violence, so to say, because I mean you can see the needless, the baseless introduction of all kinds of tariffs just to show that somebody is strong. I mean, and when Donald Trump made that
the blunder
mistake, the blunder of declaring himself as the one who runs the world, who pulls the strings. Was he expecting people to sit by and not do anything? And even as we are speaking internally in the United States, because I believe all the attention should be focused in the United States now. Look at the efforts at taking away Medicaid, Medicare, all kinds of privileges, food stamp for vulnerable Americans and families, through the law that he called big whatever, a big beautiful bill that has now become his big beautiful law last week, setting a deadline of July 4th for that law to pass, and which he was successful at pushing through, which has now led to Elon Musk is a former surrogate president, the alternate president in the US, now declaring or establishing what he has called the American Party. I mean, look at the trauma that attended all that internally. So if internally in the United States we are crying that some of these things, including the advisory from the Congressional Budgetary Council that said this is going to lead to a deficit of $3 trillion for the country. Just making sure that the rich are having their money protected and their wealth ballooned, while the common folks, the only thing that is done there is this attempt at making sure that no taxes are paid on tips for hotel workers and low-level workers. But you look at the unprecedented ballooning of defense spending, particularly $150 billion for the immigration and what's it called? And the deportation, the Homeland Security thing, deportation thing that has never been witnessed before, $150 billion. And how the underbelly of the US economy will suffer certain devastating effects from such situations. Because workers who used to cut your lawn, workers who used to work on the fields, whether cornfield or the fruit field, what's it called? The citrus field in California and elsewhere, as they continue to be driven underground and be deported in their thousands. What would be the effect for the United States? And you know, there are certain kind of back-breaking jobs here. And I'm continuing in my, what's it called? In my mind struggles about the fact that, okay, when they say America must be great again, because the greatness they are referring to must be logged in the past, when there was cheap black labor, when there was discrimination, segregation, and what have you. Would America get back to that point that certain vulnerable ethnic compositions in this country will be made to do things that were really seen as ignominious in the past? Is that where this country is headed? If not, to make sure that the world does not get terribly bad. For example, you will think that that consciousness will still be there on the part of Republicans that, wherever Russia decides to be ruthless and do all kinds of things as they are doing against Ukrainians now, that America will stand up for them. If the world is going to be unipolar, you know, if America decides to back Russia like America is doing, or like Donald Trump, I don't know if America in general is doing this, but Donald Trump is visibly for Vladimir Putin. If the whole world thinks the same way with him oppressing less powerful countries of the world, what do you think that will mean? It is the same token, the same parallel we are getting economically now, which is why countries of southern influence versus northern pole economically, the northern economic bloc. And you can't even say that America has the support of the NATO countries anymore. Europe is on its own. Canada is on, stands on its own because everybody has really suffered one disadvantage or the other, one loss or the other because of the reckless the loose cannons being fired in terms of tariff by the United States. So Donald Trump has always wanted a go-it-alone America. And if he gets it now, he has no cause to complain. This is the point I'm making.
All right. Please, thank you. Join the conversation. We want to get back to that sweet spot we were on.
Yes, and Elon Musk is not really taking it easy. But sometimes you give them this benefit of the doubt.
Elon Musk started a new party yesterday.
Yeah, could they be playing us? Because in the final analysis, when third parties emerge on the scene, they weaken the ability of Democrats to do better. It's usually targeted, but this time around, we know that Elon Musk has been an enabler for the reckless and runaway radical agenda of Republicans. So probably people will look at him now that, okay, this will whittle down or will divide the influence or the unity of the Republican Party. At the end of the day, maybe it will be some credible gain. But don't forget, there have been billionaire oil magnates like Perot and so many others in the past trying to go that route. It never really flew. So I do not think people will easily forget how Elon Musk decided to destroy strong institutions in America, defunding them, making sure that thousands of people. I'm not a politician. I'm not a campaigner. I would leave the job of reminding all of us of how to put the antecedent of Elon Musk on the side of time so that people do not follow him wrongly anymore. It is just because whatever has been taken now, the decision that has been implemented through this big, beautiful, which he says, Elon Musk anyway says big, ugly law or whatever. So maybe because the thing hurts him, and Donald Trump is even threatening that they will investigate more than $20 billion.
And he might be deported.
And that he may be, but that is a long one. That's a long one. Even if he's deported, yes, any of us face that threat of denaturalization. You are not a naturalized citizen, but for people
but Elon Musk cannot be deported. That is a stretch, like you said.
Yes,
there's too many citizens' interest attached to that idea.
Let me also tell you, a man who is hawking American green card for $5 million. Do you think he will want to throw away?
Exactly. Another evidence.
160. No, am I saying 100?
$400 billion. $400 billion.
Yeah, but if he does, I'm sure places like Nigeria will be open to what. No, I do not know.
Yeah.
Let Elon Musk stay and fight the demons that are after him.
Fight their own demons. So yeah.
Yes. We don't want that kind of trouble in a peaceful place like Nigeria.
All right, please hit like, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Join the conversations as a comment. Chiye, welcome. How you did? Join the conversations and we will be right back.
Who they think the flag bearer, if indeed this ADC becomes the party to unseat the current president. Who do you think should be the flag bearer? Is it ATIKU Abubakar or is it Peter Obi, and why? And do you think each should concede to each other, considering all the various calculations available? Some are saying that ATIKU can do one term, hand over to Peter Obi for the other term. Others are saying ATIKU can step down, understand that Peter Obi already has the obedient following to win the election coming up. I'm not sure what Amaechi's game is, but he also is hoping to become president. So in all of these, who do you think should be the right choice for the flag bearer?
Well, that's a difficult one. I mean, first of all, I mean, if you heard part of what I said earlier, that our law does not allow you to be a member of two political parties. So the first thing that needs to be done is Obi or anybody else that wants to vie under ADC must resign membership of their previous party.
Okay.
That, if they don't, they are going to enter all kinds of legal difficulties.
Okay.
But in terms of who should they choose, well, in terms of the calculation at the moment.
All right. So I'm looking at a BBC report. It says big shake up in Nigerian politics as heavyweights join forces. Nigeria's two main opposition leaders have joined a new political party to challenge President Bola Tinubu's and his ruling party in the next election. ATIKU Abubakar and Peter Obi have chosen the African Democratic Congress ADC as their new political home after breaking away from their respective parties, the PDP, People's Democratic Party, and the Labour Party, LP. This is one of the biggest shakeups in Nigerian politics since the end of military rule in 1999. Some political heavyweights from Tinubu's APC, All Progressive Congress Party, have also thrown their weight behind the formation. I guess they're talking about Amaechi and El Rufai and those kind of things. So my question for you is the same question that what's her name, Morayo, right? Just threw to that gentleman. I don't know who that is, but that's the same question I want to ask you, and everybody that's watching should join the conversation in the comments as well.
Thank you, Ola.
Yeah.
Political hot potato question, but yeah, the people who are really pulling out of the APC arrangement are not already. We know El-Rufai is no longer with them. We know that Amaechi has never been part of them. But you study it closely, you will understand that the CPC, Congress of Progressive Change, that was the political machine that was used by Buhari to coalesce with new PDP and Bola Ahmed's own political organization in those days, with aspects of ABGA and the ANPP. You will understand that all these people are, from the outset, have really parted ways with Bola Tinubu. But you will find within the current administration certain individuals like Prince Audu, who stepped down as a special advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and there are still several others. Even, you see, APC does not really understand what is really going on structurally to the world level. There are people that are really dissatisfied with the conduct of APC so far. For example, in a place like Ayede Ogbese ward, in Akure North, that is Ward 2 of Akure North local government, somebody was telling me that the activities of APC as a political party, their activities got cornered by a group of 5 identified individuals. Whatever was coming in, whether palliative, whatever, those people formed a cabal who hijacked everything. So you think the vast majority of Ayede Ogbese people who were dissatisfied with that kind of behavior would endorse APC in days to come? And I have told you of a situation in which I personally had to make representations to the late governor of the state, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, to get Kamomi Aketi and campaign against open defecation in Nigeria. It was flagged off in Nigeria by the Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman, in those days. I had used Honorable Yetunde Adeyanju as my contact person to that administration, and they did so much for us. These were things, as a high chief, I should not be doing those things, but these were things that ought to be done by politicians. They leave things like that. They will not struggle or advocate for the interests of the people, but when they just hunt after money. In the same idea, said, this is a flooding that is all over the world now. Also happened. And we find out that millions of naira got voted to the local government through ecological funds. Nothing was ever brought in to salvage that community, and you find pythons and the crocodiles just crawling around some neighborhoods. And you think people will continue to endorse the agenda of that kind of party who's been so superficial in dealing with the people and talking of defections at the national level? Of course, people will not want to identify with the elements who have been taking away genuine development from them. And so APC should, and I give this disclosure with all sense of seriousness, so that if they have anything to re-engineer their focus and their path, let them get cracking immediately. So back to the issue of what's it called? These elements, the big shots all over Nigeria coming together, and somebody like Wike trying to shrug it off that it doesn't mean anything, or the attack dogs in the presidency playing the ostrich game. You know, they bury their they bury their hand in the sand like it does not matter. But the rest of whatever they have is on the parade out there. It's the ostrich game. So, what Nigerians are up against, whether because souls can be regenerated, whether these people that are coming, and you see Wike pointing out that, oh, David Mark in 8 years of being the president of the Senate did not do anything for the people of Otukpo. You have heard that Amechi's wife had been fingered in 4 billion naira monthly scandal, contract scam from NDDC. You have heard of what they said El-Rufai perpetrated in Kaduna. Would Nigerians want to trust these people? I do not know. And that is why I continue to explore the theme of the possibility of the oppressed being able to throw away the yoke and then take charge of their destiny and say, Group A, Group B, you are not desirable. We want a new set of people to lead us in this country. And that is it can only happen if they allow the votes to count. If the votes are counted properly and they allow the vote to count. Because Nigeria, what's it called? The people who mind Nigeria electoral process, let me tell you this. There are 1,001 ways of disenfranchising people. You can get to the place very early in the morning and then the voting materials do not come in time. The voting materials can come in time and you find out that recorded number of votes do not tally with accredited number of voters. And you can even be there with your voter's card. You know, the quality of Nigeria's voter's card is not like the state ID cards we carry in America. It's quite different. That easily gets mutilated. It's just like a laminated nonsense. I have my own here. My picture does not even appear on it anymore. It's peeled off. Substandard things are done with outrageous amount of money in Nigeria. So the element of fraud and corruption, not just vote trading, not just putting the electoral process on the bidding block, where people would continue to bid and outbid each other for what number of ballots is available to be sold. You see, from practical experience, what I know that would play out in Nigeria is that it does not really bother the administration that they are creating voters' apathy. When that I mean, the eve of that the voting exercise, when it arrives, you will see how wanton amount of money will be moved all over the country, and then every voter has a price, but they won't come to the people who are writing.
Bullion vans, huh?
Bullion van may not even move like it did at Bodilon the other time. It may not move like that, but this time around, they know how they push that raw cash. They say they are farming up the economy, but they have a way of also making sure that liquid cash is all over the place. And how do you make that kind of economy work? So unless Nigeria looks at its issues, this party formation, this mobility of politicians, and come out with codified electoral processes and rules, which it is always hard for them to abide by their own set rules anyway. But unless they are able to do it firmly, the problems of Nigeria will continue to persist as a systemic whole. And what I mean is that voters' apathy or lethargy would lead to politicians misbehaving when they get into power because they bought their way through anyway. And when they get there, who holds them accountable? So it is so interesting that they are trading blames at the moment. Oh, my Rolls Royce is bigger than yours. How did you acquire your Rolls Royce? And Seun Okinbaloye will put simple questions to them. And it's so difficult for them to tell us how they make money. You know, I mean, all kinds of information has been flying around. As to
do you think Peter Obi has passed that test? How he made money in his interview?
I do not know, but Peter Obi's own is not difficult. The average Igbo person is business minded, and you have seen us you have seen them in our communities. You see the way they are, the way they are assigned for apprenticeship, and they start businesses. They mind the stores or wares or stocks of their of the people who train them, and then they are set out with seed money to begin their own thing. It's not difficult to understand that the Igbo person may make money easily. But the ones I cannot explain is the person who will say, oh, his father was the general manager of several companies. At the same time, how many companies can the father of Wike manage at a time? Or he's saying different companies at different times. I do not understand. And the one who says the wife is an industrialist, but then in another breath is saying the wife used to trade in all kinds of things, even in government house. And that is a self-indictment on the part of Amechi. How can you be elected into office and your wife is trading all kinds of things from the government house? And I've had several ridiculous arguments from even media personalities who would say, come here. If it's not that the world has turned upside down, how would Dr. Abati come on air to say that it's not a crime for an adult son of Wike to get contracts? From who? So is that competitive enough? We are not talking of the legal complexities they put us through all the time. No wonder Jesus said, woe unto lawyers, because they hold the key to knowledge. They don't go in there, and they prevent people who even seek after the light, the truth. They prevent them from getting there. Lawyers complicate things for the world too much, especially in Nigeria. No wonder Dr. Abati will not see any wrong thing about Wike, allegedly, because we don't know if Wike's son is behind the company that was floated and was now into taking up lines that have been, who's the right of occupancy or certificate of occupancy have been revoked from other people. But the point I'm making here is that for that system to work, rule of law does not go just in isolation. It has to operate pari passu, some moral convictions that, if I'm in office, all I do is to use it to advance the interests of my family and my siblings.
This is, I'll say this, sir. I'll say this, sir, right? I don't see an article conceding for...
You never can tell. You can't predict any politician.
No, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what I see.
Maybe
I could be wrong.
Maybe not. See, at this point, I can even say that I see an article going there. You know, politicians will do anything to really.
Let me finish. Let me finish
will
that
you
thought.
Be shocked? No, wait. Will you be shocked if article wakes up tomorrow morning and says, "Showore, come over here"?
Yes, I'll be shocked, and I think it's impossible.
I'll be shocked,
and I think it's literally impossible.
Well, you never rule out anything in politics.
Well, here's the thing about politics. From the little bit I know, right? The fight is till the end. Even if it looks hopeful at some point, there's a fight going on, and that fight is till the end. It is very obvious to me that Atiku, unless God forbid he is ambitious and he wants to run for the president of that country. Now, let's push it a little bit to maybe he wants to run for just one term and then pass it along like that person, like that young lady said earlier.
Speculating that it will pass on to Peter Obi.
It's literally impossible. Power is not given. It will be taken. The only way he will relinquish that, the same thing is true for Tinubu as well.
You know that not all the time is it given that it will be taken as well. So,
no. I say it's
not
taken.
All the time wouldn't be taken. For example, the practical example of Joe Biden here, who gave it up and passed it on.
He didn't give it up.
Well,
that's all part of the optics. He did not give it up. They told Baba go arrest. That's what happened behind the scenes.
But he himself came out in concession to say
because he didn't have a choice. There was no path. There was no path for him to stay in that office. That's why.
Anyway, so finish your thought.
Right. So thank you for bringing up that example. I want to come to me, but it's not really relevant. It's about the fight. It's like they must fight till the end. They must fight till the end. The same thing is true. Well, we already know Showore has his coconut head like that. We already know that. But the same thing is very, very true. The only thing we know about Showore is that he's transparent about it. But the rest of them are literally like that. The only person that could have maybe done that is a Peter Obi, right? But then that will be him demonstrating weakness. And a lot of people are going to really hate that if he does that. If you like say, okay, let's just give it up on it might look like that up front, but in my opinion, is delusion. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Atiku is ambitious still. He wants to run and he wants to become the president of that nation. It's kind of like sort of like Buhari some years back. He wants to become the president of that nation. Then the idea now that the two behemoths I can see is Peter Obi and Atiku, and somehow they're going to join forces together. This is going to be interesting. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, you never can tell because is it because Rufai is not telling anybody, or because he's still trying to be redeemed from his loquacious and talkative disposition?
Wait, I'm sorry. Why did you bring Rufai into that? I'm sorry.
Because it's part of the coalition. It's part of it. He's playing it cool. And
what about Amechi? What about Amechi? He too.
I'm gonna mention Amechi, but the deadliest. Listen, Ola, the deadliest viper, the deadliest serpent in that fold is Rufai. He's not talking much. See, you do not know the disposition of the average Fulani person when it comes to power. See, yeah, you will say Atiku Abubakar is a Fulani, but you also see that in all the days that he's been pilloried by Wike, did you hear a word from him? Not even one word. They know how, they are not like us Southerners or Yorubas in particular that Everybody already knows from the outstop what you are about to do. They know your game. They know your strategy. El-Rufai is not talking now. Just because he's not talking does not mean
I'm
that
learning. I'm learning.
Yes. See,
If there's a chance for El-Rufai or Amaechi at all, I will be learning. It will be like 2023
yeah,
all over
part of
again.
the learning thing for all of us is this. If you are a good student of politics in the northern part of Nigeria, you would have understudied somebody like Umaru Diko. You would have understudied somebody like late Maitama Sule or Sule Maitama. You would have understudied a lot of ruthless northern political operators. They do not talk much. But when it comes to strategy, like I told you, we go back to what I said initially. You may be hearing Allah Akbar. No God other than Allah. But sometimes they learn to substitute that.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be applicable to an ATIKU?
Just wait. No other God other than... Yes, I have told you. But continue to study the game. Everybody is focused on ATIKU.
It's going to be interesting.
El-Rufai is there. He's not talking. But that guy is a short man devil. He will try.
My prediction is this. It's going to be interesting. That's my prediction.
Me too.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Please join the conversation. Please join the conversation. Hit like, share, subscribe. You're watching Sharp Edge News TV. Yes, another one in the box there. Again, 83% of you are watching and not subscribing. Please help our destiny. Be our destiny helper. Please subscribe to the channel and share. Tia says, I can't stand El-Rufai's ass. Very wicked soul. She said during his tenure, I think she was talking about what you may call it. She was talking about Peter Obi here. During his tenure, he didn't build a house for himself or drive a luxurious car. They were fighting him because he won't let people chop government money. You know, the funny thing, that could actually represent weakness in Nigerian politics. It's very, very weird.
Yeah, it could be. And really, I do not subscribe to stealing public money to what's it called, to prop up personal luxury. It's not proper, which is why I was mentioning the madness between Wike and Amaechi about who got a gift of Rolls Royce, who stole more, or who is the best thief. But
I saw the headline. I didn't watch the video. I saw the headline where he said, I bought it with my money. Yeah, is that anybody's problem? Wike said that.
But how did he make that money? What did he do to make the money? What has he ever done in his life other than being in government? All of them.
He was an assistant to Amaechi.
Yeah, but like Jeffrey Archer, Lord Jeffrey Archer in Britain will put it in his famous book. You know, he's a very good novelist. He will say, honor amongst thieves. Even amongst thieves, there should be honor. These Nigerian political thieves, they have little honor at all.
You see, one of the faulty things about Nigerian education, at least when I was going to school in Nigeria, was the fact that once you're in science class, commerce class, somehow suddenly you're not supposed to take history class.
Which is very wrong. They don't allow you to take civics. They don't allow you to take government.
It's very wrong.
It's very wrong. That curriculum has to be crashed and reworked.
Yeah. And so due to that, my Nigerian history is very, very, I'm just coming up to speed. I remember some mentioning of Usman Dan Fodio a little bit in social studies, but very, very faintly. Natu says we're still feeling the effect of Usman Dan Fodio till today. Those Fulani people are a special breed. She said if El-Rufai enter Kaduna, na zone, we go stone am. Oh, na stone we go stone am. Na stone we go stone am. TS.
If El-Rufai goes where?
If El-Rufai enter Kaduna, na stone we go stone am.
Yes. Well, when they do it, I will believe because they always have a way of swinging things and then.
Because that was the point you were making, right? It can swing, right?
Yeah, this will swing, and it will become he's one of us. And if they say they really hate him, some people were complaining about the Sadana and Tafawa Balewa, the overbearing friends of the Northern, what was it called, People's Congress, NPC in the First Republic. But when Kaduna and Zogu went after them, you saw what they did to Kaduna and Zogu. It became their enemy instead of being praised as a folk hero.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out with us. Chinye, I appreciate you. Nato, I appreciate you. Blossom, I appreciate you for stopping by. Blossom
appreciation as well. Thank you so much.
All right, and
being part of what we do.
Yep. Like, share, subscribe, follow, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Hopefully, you've been enlightened and educated. See you on the next one. Take care. God bless.